And then by then I'd gotten up to about D3, my first time around, right? So playing D3, and you can go back and look at my APPA, my, PB leagues back then. It wasn't impressive. I wasn't doing good. The team, we'd bit off a little more than we could
Really?
chew, just like a lot of guys do. But it was fun. It was still fun. I was 18 years old traveling all over the place with these guys. My parents were like, yeah, just don't die, have fun, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
You know,
And
taught you a lot of life experiences too, right?
absolutely, they did. Yeah. I mean, you mature quicker,
Mhm.
we partied, we were crazy, I was a hooligan, whatever, but you got to be at least a little safe about it. You got to be mature about it.
Yeah.
And like I said, back then, I was working for those paintballs. I wasn't just, showing up to the field under a sponsorship and getting all my stuff for free. Back then, if you remember back in the 2000s, sponsorships were real. Like
Yeah.
if you got a paint sponsorship, they'd ship a pallet of paint to you. If you got a
Hmm.
gear sponsorship, they'd send you a gear package. Like it
Hmm.
was a real deal sponsorship. They requested stuff where, you had to be on the podium, you had to do this or that, you had to put X amount of time into it. Um, then the recession hit, or the recession hit in '08. So it kind of stepped down a little bit. Still played a ton of paintball. Like I said, I'd mow grass anywhere. I'd do this or that around the field to get paint money or field fee or whatever to pay the next, road trip into the next tournament. By then we had started playing PSPs, traveling to Chicago and all that good stuff. Had a blast with that. And then that team kind of fizzled out and I was kind of a free agent for a little while, played here, played there. Again, this is recession era paintball. So it was, money was tight. People didn't have time, the full budget to go do whatever. Sponsorships had dropped big time. And then so 2011, I actually got into the Marine Corps, did 4 years in the Marine Corps out
Okay.
of Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
Thank you.
I was a machine gunner in the infantry. I had 2 deployments to
Ooh.
Afghanistan and
Ooh.
they
You have
call it a deployment. They call it a deployment to Japan, but it was really more like a vacation. It was a blast.
okay.
And then, so got out and while I'm there, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm going to take a hiatus. There's nothing around here paintball wise, this or that until, you're sitting there in the barracks room, you're tired. If you stay there, you're going to get yelled at and this and that. It's going to be a pain. So I'm like, I'm going to get online, see if there's anything around. And there's a paintball field, paintball Jackson. Or not Jackson, Jacksonville, North Carolina. It
Okay.
was 20 minutes away. So I'd hop in a taxi and, taxi over there. Uh, the first time I went, I had to get a rental gun, this and that. I had all my own gear at home, but I'm out there with a rental gun, blue jeans and a sweatshirt, just tearing these renters up. And I'm like, okay, next time I go home, I've got to bring my gear up here with me. So sure
Yeah.
enough, next leave I left, for Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever it was. Went back home for a couple of days, grabbed my gear bag, came back with it, and then started playing out of Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. So I played there. It was the couple Marines that I'd met. Oh yeah, man, I play paintball. I used to play tournament paintball up and that's the beautiful thing. Like the Marine Corps, it's bringing all these guys together, like a crazy
Hmm.
amount of guys from all over the place. I mean, the whole
Hmm.
country, California, all these hotbeds. Because Tennessee, back in the golden era of paintball, like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, it was a hotbed. Just like anywhere, paintball was happening. It was cool. It was in the news. Everybody wanted to play. It was the new extreme sport. Everybody wanted, and then it kind of died off. But like still had like the meccas. You had Florida, you had the Texas guys, you had the guys out of California
Hmm.
that kept playing, and it was big time. And so whenever they said they played tournament ball, I was kind of like, at the time I was still ranked D3. I was like, they probably played a local 3-man, whatever. That's still a tournament. And I was like, okay, let's come out and let's all practice. So we all got together out there and started playing as a team. So I was like, you know what? Let's make a team and play here. I mean, it's going to be harder to do. We're not going to have as much time to practice. Uh, but we made it happen. We made a team out of, North Carolina called Carolina Snapback. And we played a few of the EPLs back in the day up and down the East
Okay.
Coast, going up to New Jersey and, Foxborough, Massachusetts and all that stuff, traveling up and down the
Wow.
coast,
Yeah.
playing a different tournament series.
Yeah.
So that was a blast, getting to meet these guys, and I'm still friends with them to this day. We want to get together and, play a couple of the 7-mans that the CFOA still having and all that stuff. just as like a reunion to all get back together. We did pretty well there. We placed and got a couple of first places. As a, more or less a throw together team of guys that could only practice every so often because I would be in a unit and I would be either deployed or, man, it was crazy. Yeah, I would be deployed or, I'd come back and this guy would be deployed or he'd be on assignment here, whatever. But whenever we could all get together, we'd go play an event and then we'd do okay and then come back.
Yeah.
So it was a blast. So, what I thought was, okay, well, that fun's gone. No, I just created another team there and we had fun there doing that.